And this enough to watch Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gog on Facebook and YouTube. And that enough to watch the movie star fly take off from Pelpa Time TV. So that boom.
A big sound, a big tune.
Ja Oli Emmanuel I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther and the ancient monarchy will come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon, well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty, and we know war, not every...
Blow, Mr. Gargan, blow. Blow till me dance up me toe.
This is Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan. Good, healthy food with the X Factor. So give it a like, share, subscribe, and touch up that notification bell. And that is it. Look at that.
Up and running, up and gunning. Sticky Stocky Sweet TV, Keith Gargan, Cassava, Passava, Mind Over Matter, up and running. Blessed Wednesday evening to each and everyone, and myself as well. Yeah, I'm kind of a little bit tired. Come here, start out a new place and that take a lot out of me still, but you know, we have to drop a video same speed when really we have interest, you know what I mean? So it's like, when me say I go on, because we not just deal with Jamaican politics. We have to deal with politics all around. Yeah, man. So we say some things are going on here, so we're going to play two videos. One is the King's speech, which is me say right now, I think say this might be his last speech, and also the last speech for the Prime Minister, Starmer. So things are get hot, things are bubbled, people are under pressure. I mean, I say pressure must bust a pipe, and a them rascal, Democrat, thick rascal type of thing want to say happen in Jamaica. When anybody sleep, them dip on the blood clot knife edge, right? Because in at the end of the day, them a media up here so now ramp. You can't buy them out, because them is real media, right? Them is real press. Them credible. Them not fucking take up one side and think them go right through. Yeah. So you see those are what them nastiness that Jamaica they are talking about, like Cliff Hughes and these people. And all of them were over the station there. Because boy, them are Germans back over there say, you know, one sided. Okay, and that be a journalism. And then again, they're not going to do the training, you know. Them just come and set up something and use up them big dirty stinking mouth. But them are journalists. Journalists what? You know, when I was journalists, and journalists will never do him, do. And I get away with it. But you see, that's why I want to show them two videos, you know. So this is the King's speech, and things that get hot with the Prime Minister on the verge of blood clot resigning by pressure. And he might get pressure from the one MP them, he might get pressure from the media, he might get pressure from the rascal people on the street That is democratic grass-clad country, right? In a Jamaica, what are Jamaica? A bunch of blood-clad, fool people. And when me say that, don't get me wrong, me not call out and say all Jamaica fool, We are talking about the bossy slave them. Because them type of people still about chip upon them shoulder. And we are talking about the diety GLP them. Me talk about that last night. So you have loyalists and loyalty to your party or to a party, but not dieted. So anybody at Jamaica in a Labour Party dieted, them a bossy blood-clad slave. Can't trust them. They will poison you, they will kill you. And you see all them people too? You see all them rascal people too. You see, if you believe in a PMP and you meet a girl and she like you and you like her and you get tangled up, your life in danger. You can't trust her because that's how them steer. So, to be truthful, don't get involved with them. Yeah, man, just like how them can rascal quarrel to themselves and them fucking pitney. Why you gonna get involved? We don't get involved with them. Because them are some rascal devious people, left, right, and center. Because me I tell you, say all of them nastiness down there, so. Nesta Morgan, Floyd Green, all them young idiot boy, they were Andrew John and party. And I run out them mouth. I talk like frog and blood clot mouth. Right? Them when they blood clot the behind bars already are fucking in the courthouse. And I've kicked and we'll get them blood clot self out of politics. And can't come back near politics. But no. And I saw you got Jamaica. You have thief come back in the party. Biggest thief and criminal them. Andrew Wallace elect them, give them rascal ministerial job back in the party. You look on blood clot people like what name I sent me there? Bobby Montague. Look on Pinnock. But thief out the Petrogram money and the school money, him and blood clot rail read. And him put him back in them cabinet again. Look on a woman named Dalrymple Poor. After she fucking convicted and have to pay a lot of money. And she'll resign to, Andrew Wallace blood clot, spend a lot of money and bring her back because them can't do him dirty work. Right? Them can't do him dirty work, so bring them back. So you think that could happen to blood clot England? This have rascal Abergine. Yo, the blood clot, no. Could never happen. I just slip your slide. And them people are going, let me tell you something, So sometimes you have some rascal and dieted blood clot, idiot, they were at Jamaica. Some of them never going away now. Some of them go and then travel still, but them have the same mind thinking, same mindset. Because none of them there same way. Them now get all the family right, but them blood clot back live right. Oh, shower. And if you see where them live, where them come from, not build up or nothing, then I get none from them, but they're just that, them piercing in their mind. So them have some bossy slave. Them have some rascal bossy slave. Believe you me. And it grieved me so rascal much, you see. You see, these people I choose party over country. How can you do that? Land of your birth, Party are some like a stinking man and woman. Right? Because them are rascal and you have to just class them like that, Them are rascal nigga they were in a rascal, the woman and the man them are some market people. Right? Appear market rascal people, uncard people. You see in the parliament. Deportees and all them rascal thing. The peer minister with questionable character against them. No, Joe, all of them questionable. The leader questionable, because we know him already, so you can't blood clot what. Or he's strong upon rascal file. He's a gang leader, he's a money launderer, he's a criminal. That little Chinese looking boy you see there. So all the top of them, Bobsy Grange, what Bobsy Grange go through and do what she do. And what people have the file. The file is out there, open wide. But all of them in a parliament, if a England, none of them could never come near politics again. They want to ban. They want to go find a different job. No, but no, not in blood clot Jamaica, man. It's free for all. Because the money is sweet. You can, the Jamaican people, man, and take them, and plus you know get all these rascal millions, 18, 20 odd millions who no pay. And still a rascal rob the people them. So you know what kind of people who know is and I get away with it. And I get away with it. Well, I mean, I tell you sometimes, you know, when you look on them things, it's like you have to really think to yourself and say, really, where is the democratic movement in Jamaica gone? There's nothing left when you come on that. There's nothing left in the compound that, you know. Some people never talk about democratic and things like that, because that not work at Jamaica again, especially since Andrew Wall is coming to power. Believe you me. Nah, lie, you know. Not lying. And that's the facts. But anyway, we just going at this first video here. Because I just want to play something that people can see. Because if you look at the movement right there now, you see everything like so. At the same thing when I'm have Rascal parade at Jamaica. Because at the same mandate. At the same standing order. At the same rascal thing you see them carry. When them call it the rod. Or whatever. The same thing where Angela Brownberg touched other day and it caused a fucking eruption in the parliament. Eh? So you see those people, they are both slaves. So at the same setup, but the only setup now where them now go by is the law and the democratic movement where them supposed to do. No, that's throw to the window. But at everything where England do set up, at the same thing happen at Jamaica, by any parade or whatever. And on a joke, just watch it. People might think you have a rascal joke. So if the Queen was alive, all who are going to Jamaica and Andrew Wallace government would never happen if that woman was alive. Because she really deal with her Commonwealth country them really seriously. And when Andrew Wallace could never do that and things don't move different, but King Charles come now and it's like, yo, it's like him not too well. He might go through cancer treatment and things like that. So he just want to get through the world and keep on and hold the post. But you know, not going on compared to Jamaica. Because the same rascal routine and the same every fucking thing when it comes to Parliament of Jamaica. And they're supposed to follow the same blood clot rule, the same standing order, but they want to fucking come and change it up in a for them own rascal way. And get away with it because the Governor General is a puppet. He's not representing Jamaica, he represent the fucking party.
Ladies and gentlemen, please be seated. Please rise for the Lord Chancellor.
One man. You have some cronies in it. The lords. You see all them people, the lords, any one of them, have any liquor rascal stain upon them name, and the people dig it out, They have to step and move, And that may try to show say this is way about democratic. Yo. So you see, we can't rascal stop talk. So all Jamaican honor the same rascal banner, the same rule as England, the same parliamentary rule. And them rascal people can behave them way and people do criminality and fucking resign, and the Prime Minister rascal promote them back and bring them back, spend a lot of taxpayers' money for get them back elected and bring them back in the parliament. Sometimes I have to look at myself and I say, boy, can you see the next video I'm going to play after this? You're going to hear how the opposition call for the rascal Prime Minister to resign, and they keep on doing that all the while. But I see Jamaican opposition do that, especially leader. Them supposed to, each time you go in a parliament, you must supposed to find a way where you go around it, and especially when you deal with, you have to deal with the Prime Minister direct. Once you're in a parliament, you can say, you're a rascal, I'm a Prime Minister, should resign. That's supposed to have bang, 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 bang. But if it was Andrew on the side, and them honored, just flip the side around, them gonna call for rascal, Marky G, every rascal chance them get. Inside the parliament and outside the parliament. And that is a fact. So, I know, but then again, sometime, I don't know. King and the Queen arrived.
my lords, pray be seated.
Blackroad! Mr. Speaker, the King commands this noble House to attend His Majesty immediately in the House of Peers.
Well, I'll go back a little and say something on this. We say so well then
Mr. Speaker, the King commands
them people in
this
the
noble
ramp.
House to attend His Majesty immediately in the House of Peers.
I don't know who make them a rascal rules, you know. I don't know who make these rules. But I mean, I tell you, say, creepy. All right. So the Prime Minister there, and think that the black woman there is the opposition. And I saw him walk and talk and things like that. And little after this, they're going to try to slaughter each other. Especially the woman. You see, this is what I try to say, you know, because opposition really, you know, play with government. Right? Just watch them attack. So them attack two enemy them, you know. One a government and one a opposition. We see civilized, you know. And like Andrew Wallace, who now make up him face and want to talk and show some nasty body language. Yeah. I'll try it.
My Lords and members of the House of Commons, an increasingly dangerous and volatile world threatens the United Kingdom, with the conflict in the Middle East only the most recent example. Every element of the nation's energy, defense, and economic security will be tested. My government will respond to this world with strength and aim to create a country that is fair for all. My ministers will take decisions that protect the energy, defense, and economic security of the United Kingdom for the long term. They will defend the British values of decency, tolerance, and respect for difference under our common flag. And they will harness the potential of the pride felt across this country for its communities. My government will take urgent action to tackle anti-Semitism and ensure all communities feel safe. My government believes that the United Kingdom's economic security depends on raising living standards in every part of the United Kingdom. My ministers will support measures that maintain stability and control the cost of living. They will use public investment to shape markets and attract further private investment. They will deploy the power of an active state in partnership with business and enable reforms that support higher growth and a fair deal for working people. My government believes that improved trading relations are vital for the United Kingdom's economic security, for significantly raising economic growth, and for lowering prices for working people. My ministers will introduce legislation to take advantage of new trading opportunities, including a bill to strengthen ties with the European Union. My government will also support the economic security of British businesses. Legislation will be introduced to tackle late payments and to reduce the burden of unnecessary regulation through innovation. The United Kingdom's economic security depends upon world-class infrastructure. Legislation will be introduced to unlock the benefits of airport expansion, enable roads to be built at pace, including the Lower Thames crossing, and deliver a fair deal for the north of England through Northern Powerhouse Rail. My ministers will continue to take all action necessary to safeguard the domestic production of steel. My government will also improve the United Kingdom's security by continuing to invest in the renewal of public services. My ministers will push forward with significant reforms to the police, the National Health Service, and to the criminal justice system to help them deliver services the British people expect. Legislation will be introduced to increase confidence in the security of the immigration and asylum systems. My government will improve critical infrastructure with legislation to clean up the water industry and establish Great British Railways. My government believes that the United Kingdom should be a country fair for all and a place where every child is included in the nation's highest aspirations. My ministers believe that every child deserves the chance to succeed to the best of his or her ability and not be held back due to poverty, special educational needs, or a lack of respect for vocational education. My ministers will continue to invest in apprenticeships and measures that tackle youth unemployment. They will respond to the Milburn Review and the Timms Review and continue to reform the welfare system to support both young and disabled people to flourish in work as the basis for long-term economic security. A bill will be brought forward to raise standards in schools and introduce generational reforms of the special educational needs system. My ministers will also proceed with the introduction of digital ID that will modernize how citizens interact with public services.
Hear that now? That's one big red card, you know. Because remember, you know, the conservative government, the Tory government, come with that fucking shit from when of the 80s. I think it's from Margaret Thatcher. Quote me, I don't know if I'm, well, you know, I don't 100% sure, but me know personally, way back when, because I never really there when Margaret Thatcher ruled anyway. But me know so right now, becomes the bitter when she resigned. But them, I try to push ID card from a longer time, and you up now. The same opposition I know, the same government right now, where the king read the speech, I said, well, then they want to bring back that, and them is the one who is fight it down, you know. Them and Labour started and said down and things like that, and then people from the other side don't agree with it neither, and then the wider public, because everybody have to have a say, you know. And I like Jamaica, I try to push the needs and Andrew Wallace just want to push it through Parliament, and nobody know, and they don't want to have a wider conversation about it with the people. It can't work as England. So that's why, all right, Margaret Thatcher come with it, John Major. Then, what's your name again? Before, what's name again? Fuck's sake, this Prime Minister, man, from Brixton. Anyway, Margaret Thatcher. All right, Margaret Thatcher, and then, well, yeah, David Cameron. He was one of them who push it. But the next blood clot one name again, man. Yo. I'm just calling him. I thought about him yesterday. John Major. Yeah, John Major. So, all of them come and push the ID card. And the British people don't want to have none of it, because them have a say. So what you see, them have a say, you know, and not just the parliamentary them, or the opposition. A lot of them want it, just like, you know, see, but then again, when the public speak, because them get a fair say, and then when them see it, then they say, well, it's unpopular. And the unpopular, they have to drop it. So then drop it, much time and drop ID card, because people are saying, well, then look, people have a passport already. You don't need no ID card. We spend a lot of money to introduce that, you know. Just like what Andrew Wallace deal with the needs. And you see it, the court throw it out 2 times. But guess what now? And you see this ID card where they want to introduce in England, it's not far from institutions with people private affair, you know. Because they're going to do it a way where, and I like how Andrew Wallace do it, where it's like, you know, I want different thing completely. I want different thing completely, where the needs where they matter about Jamaica, you know. Because that needs can wrestle, lock you down. I must say lock down your account. Know how much you spend. Those are so far they want to go with it. So this ID card where it is a digital ID card where they want to cut out passport, and because them say they want to identify illegal immigrant and all them things there, which is technology, because that means they don't find people easier. Because if you know have one in a digital eyes, you know have one, then you can go in and blood clot, get checked on and find out who he is quickly. But it's not intrusive to find in a people's private life. But the one at Jamaica, the needs, is full of trickery. Full of trickery. But I'm going to tell you how politicians behave, you know. Them talk one thing, them fight against one thing. And then when they come in the government now, they must say one different thing. When I already talk about Andrew Wallace, the same brother as Starmer, him do the same thing. And sometimes I wonder what Mark Wallen talk some good things, you know. One if Mark Wallen coming up power, we're gonna get him wanted and say things when him say, because sometimes I know, you know, politicians will say anything, you know, to get the rascal power, you know. Yeah, man. And when them get the power, they don't remember, look for Andrew Wallace. Anyway, him are the worst of the worst, to be truthful. Because him not do one out of all the millions of things him talk about. You can't see one achievement where him talk about and where him do. He just peer repeats. So them are the government, you know, them are some rascal market people, uncard people. And that's what them for them. You know all them in a parliament. So you see, at the end of the day, because people without no character, thief, deportee. There's nothing wrong with deporting either. Because if you come and you try life differently somewhere else, and you get deported because you know have your papers yet, bad luck and things like that. Everybody is not have the same luck and that is saltless. But it's when you're rascal, you know, they're on a different levels completely. So you get deported about no serve you. So when I really all dirty deported down in a parliament. I don't understand. But anyway, we continue listening to the King's speech. Because I just want to join up on that little ID thing. Because when I introduce that now, and he used to fight against it before, Film Party. He used to fight against it before. And you see, now he might introduce it as, so I don't work on a politics this. So I just Jamaica alone, the fucker go on.
Alongside strong public services and a strong economy, the highest standards of trust in public office are essential for the social contract and the United Kingdom's collective security. My government will introduce the Hillsborough Law to bring forward a duty of candour for public servants. My ministers will also introduce legislation to enable peerages to be removed. My government will bring forward proposals that strengthen the delivery, accountability, innovation, and productivity of the civil service. These proposals will also seek to safeguard its impartiality and core values, to enhance trust and confidence in the institutions of government. My government will bring forward a bill to speed up remediation for people living in homes with unsafe cladding and a draft bill to ban abusive conversion practices. In this volatile world, my government will continue to pursue foreign policy based on a calm assessment of the national interest. It will continue its unflinching support for the brave people of Ukraine who fight on the front line of freedom. My ministers will seek to improve relations with European partners as a vital step in strengthening European security. It will continue to promote long-term peace in the Middle East and the two-state solution in Israel and Palestine. My government will also uphold the United Kingdom's unbreakable commitment to NATO and our NATO allies, including through a sustained increase in defence spending. My government will seek to reinforce the long-term energy, defence and economic security of the United Kingdom as an essential component of strength on the world stage. This will include housing, which can be a source of insecurity for many people. My ministers will bring forward legislation to increase long-term investment in social housing and to reform the leasehold system, including the capping of ground rents. My government will introduce legislation to tackle the growing threat from foreign state entities and their proxies. They will respond to the horrific attack in Southport with measures to protect the British people from extreme violence and honour the victims, the injured and their families. My ministers will also introduce legislation to improve the country's defences against cybersecurity threats. My government will support our gallant armed forces and their families who make considerable personal sacrifices for the collective security and freedom of everyone in the United Kingdom. My ministers will recognise this service with an armed forces bill that improves the service justice system and establishes the Armed Forces Covenant in statute. My ministers believe that energy independence must be a long-term goal of national security and that the nation's energy security requires long-term investment and reform, as demonstrated by recent events in the Middle East. Increased production of clean British energy will help to ensure that enemies of the United Kingdom cannot attack the economic security of the British people. My ministers will therefore introduce an energy independence bill to scale up homegrown renewable energy and protect living standards for the long term. My ministers will also take forward recommendations of the nuclear regulatory review and encourage a new era of British nuclear energy generation. My government will remain a leading advocate for tackling climate change and achieving a world free from poverty. The United Kingdom will also take action to reduce humanitarian need and conflict around the world. My ministers will champion the rights of women and girls to live in a world free from violence. This will include promoting women's full economic and political participation within their societies, with agency over the decisions that impact their lives. Next year, the United Kingdom will take on the G20 presidency and host the G20 summit to drive global growth and reinforce global stability, which is essential for the prosperity of working people across the country. My government is committed to the strength and integrity of the Union of the United Kingdom and will continue to work closely with the devolved governments to deliver for citizens across the whole of the nation. Members of the House of Commons, estimates for the public services will be laid before you. My Lords and members of the House of Commons, other measures will be laid before you. I pray that the blessing of Almighty God may rest upon your councils.
Pull up. Everybody's a little pussy. Fucking joke. Yeah, people, all of this happened today, you know. All of this happened today. Question time in the Parliament and the King's speech. So, come to the end of the King's speech, which is like, to me, the empty speech, but I don't know what I want. So they might head back to the Parliament now. So they might head back to the parliament to get themselves together for the big debate and the big rascal showdown between a woman and a man, opposition and the government. Kind of get sticky, but when I switch part, Keir Starmer can really outrun this because he must go resign at some point. Believe you me, because when the media depend on you, when your own side depend on you, when the people them out there depend on you, you have to just go and call it a day, your fault. Nobody in a rascal do it. It's you do it by your own rascal self. You make a bad move by a pint rascal that brother there. Right? And you pay for it. And that's why you get that beat in the election as well. People upset with you. Because you should do your vetting. So you see, when the politicians are not smart and use a barrister, I mean, I understand how you make them rascal, that simple thing like that, gonna make your downfall. 2 years in a government, and you do not know what you do, so you go out like a blood clot as a big disgrace. That's one of the rascal thing. Liz Truss, a prime minister for 1 day, and then she have to go. That was one of the greatest. But boy, this is one of bad too. Because you talk all the things them, because you want to be fucking prime minister. You get the chance, so you blow it. Yeah, man, you get the chance, so you blow it. So I'm take a ad and come back with the next video. Yeah, man, back with part 2 video. And this is a question time where people are going to throw a punch at one another. And but we show us well in how it are manners and things like that, bagger like the same rascal met you with them over Jamaica. Them rule are the same rascal umbrella. And it's the two different behavior and disrespect. So you see, that's why you see really you have to talk about democratic country, man, because it have that in it. It don't matter if you don't like a person there. Cause a lot of them by MP like one another, for some reason, but them have to get on both on each side. And when them ready to throw a punch, them throw a punch. And like rascal at Jamaica, where sometimes you find say the rascal speak a bias. You don't get that yourself. Never get that yourself. Speak a rascal neutral, you fuck. and independent. But them like a side or whatever, him can't show it. Because that's a rascal, that the rule book say. Anyway, we here want to go on here, so because I want to hot, you know, question time, it hot. Question time, it hot. So here goes.
So look, I want to thank everybody.
Them man always give some humor before, and the humor them really bite, you know, sound bites them. Yeah. Make people laugh. Sorry, people.
Water industry to building the affordable and social housing so many
17, just like hit the metaphorical wall. I have looked it up, he's 2 years younger than me, so I've got this good. During the marathon run, Mr. Speaker, or perhaps in my case I should say marathon limp along the streets of London, I saw neither hate nor division. I saw unity. I saw people coming together to cheer on perfect strangers in their shared endeavour. I saw Gordon Ramsay randomly heckle me to carry on. And, Mr. Speaker, I even got supported by a Man United supporter. I saw everyone, Mr. Speaker, man or woman, black or white, gay or straight, all laying the 26.2-mile course. And by the way, that 0.2 miles at the end is only made possible by those supporters. Yeah. Mr. Speaker, that is the Britain I know. That is the Britain that I love. Yeah. And that sense of supporting one another, of coming together as a community in hardship and celebration, is alive and well in Harlow. In fact, it is baked into the very foundation of Harlow when it first conceived as part of the Newtown Revolution under the first majority Labour government in 1945. Yeah. Harlow remains a strong community today, and when I think of Britishness, I think of Rainbow Services, which supports projects across Harlow by getting young people to build infrastructure for their community. I think of Streets to Homes, the homes charity I worked at, which supports the most vulnerable in our society, and I think about the Michael Roberts Charity Foundation, which runs the local food bank. As I mentioned, Harlow itself is a post-war new town, designed by Sir Frederick Gibbard to be a place of neighbourhoods and communities. It was built as a solution to the problem of overcrowding in London. Harlow sought to alleviate this pressure while keeping communities tightly knit together. You can still see remnants of that today. People from Walthamstow move into the Stow in Harlow, giving people a fresh start in life with all the comforts of their community. To this day, Harlow is one community built by lots of smaller and close communities like Potter Street, Bush Fair, Church Langley and Little Parndon. Yeah. As Harlow grew into its new town, so too did its pioneering spirit. And just 2 weeks ago, I was lucky enough to recognise one of those pioneers by unveiling a blue plaque in memory of Harlow-raised scientist Dr. George Hockham, one of the key brains behind the invention of the fibre optic cable. Yeah. Fibre optic cable, created in Harlow, revolutionised modern communication, not just in Britain, but across the world. Yeah. For me, George Hockham and many others like him from Harlow can be an inspiration for Harlow's next generation, a generation that deserves a government on their side. I think of inspirations like Professor Hannah Fry and Paralympian Anne Strike. These inspirations are a reminder of what it means to be British, to achieve so much and to have such a proud community behind you. Yeah. Harlow has a history to be proud of and a future to be excited about too. As a former teacher, I don't know if I've mentioned that, I am filled with pride when I visit schools across Harlow and see the incredible young people learning there. That is why I'm proud that education is at the heart of this government's offer in the King's Speech, building on the work done by the previous parliamentary session. Looking to the future session, the government will tackle the broken SEND system, giving every young person with SEND the support they need, and supporting parents, not leaving them to battle a broken system. Yeah. This cuts across this House, as I'm sure every honourable member can recall a constituent coming to them broken with nowhere to turn, at their wits' end with an SEND system that benefits no one. I know I certainly can. I also welcome the government's commitment to review the national curriculum to make it broader, as well as recognising the importance of citizenship, of financial education and the dangers of online harm. Yeah. What our younger generation learns is so important. if I could achieve one thing when I look back on my time serving Harlow, I want to achieve for the young people in Harlow the aspiration they deserve. Every young person now, sitting in a classroom in Harlow, primary or secondary, should have the opportunity to aspire to achieve whatever they want to do. Yeah. That is what I want for Harlow. Yeah. Some might say that I'm standing here giving this maiden speech means anyone can achieve anything if they are resilient enough. Because let me tell you, I can roll with the punches, and believe me, in my journey to the green benches, it hasn't been without being knocked down along the way. Yeah. What I say now directly to you, the young people of Harlow, is do not give up on your dreams. Yeah. Do not let someone tell you you can't do it. I say to you, if you really want something and you are willing to work hard for it, you can achieve it. Yeah. I'm proof of that. And I know in this government, you have a Prime Minister dedicated to give that opportunity to others, because he is even more proof of it than I am. Yeah. I would be remiss, Mr. Speaker, if I didn't take an opportunity to mention a personal focus of mine in this place, and that is supporting young carers and young adult carers. Yeah. And I take this opportunity to once again call on the government to ensure support for these particularly incredible young people is a golden thread which runs through everything that they do. Yeah. But of course, Mr. Speaker, Harlow is about more than just its young people, and my community has not been immune to the pressures from the cost of living crisis. I welcome the work already done, the freezing of the rail fares and prescription charges, the lifting of the two-child benefit cap and the raising of the minimum wage. Yeah. But I am pleased most of all that this government recognises in this King's speech there is more to do to support families in Harlow. When we talk about living pressures, it is easy to get lost in the numbers, and as a mathematician at heart, this is even easier for me. But to bring it home, when I think of the reality facing hard-working and proud families in Harlow, I think of my friend Jamie. He works 6 days a week to pay the bills, to put food on the table for his 2-year-old son, to provide for his family, and at the end of the month, he has very little, if anything. He cannot enjoy himself. He cannot treat his family. So this parliamentary session, Mr. Speaker, must be defined by being the one where we see living standards improve for everyone in our society and not just the privileged few. That is what will be in the mind's eye when I cast my votes in this place. I am sure my honourable friend from Oldham is waiting anxiously for me to point out that as I stand here in this place, as I'm not just standing here as just a Labour MP, I am a Labour and Cooperative MP. Yeah. I am proud of the Cooperative Party and the work it's been doing alongside the government to empower local communities, like mine in Harlow, through community ownership. I hope this next session will bring even more cooperative opportunities for people in Harlow. Yeah. Though, of course, like many honourable members in this place, my constituency name does not encompass the full nature of my area. Harlow constituency does not end at the town boundary. I represent incredible villages too, with some incredible histories. I represent Roydon, a village that first appeared in the Domesday Book. Bordering Roydon are Lower Nasing and Dobbs Weir, which are home to the Lee Valley growers, some of the biggest vegetable producers in the country. I represent Shearing, with one of its most notable residents being Rod Stewart. And for the first time, Harlow includes Hatfield Heath and Hatfield Broadoak. I know the Leader of the Opposition will vaguely remember these places. Incredible communities with a strong sense of what it means to look after your neighbour. I've got a neighbour's reference in for the Media and Cultural Sport Secretary. There you go. Ironically, one of my predecessors, Bill Rammell, actually moved out of Harlow to one of these villages, though Harlow was not keen on this, so he expanded its boundaries to include him back in the constituency, and we welcome him. Part of the fun, Mr. Speaker, of representing such a diverse community with its healthy share of rural and urban is the mix I get to experience as their MP. I can visit local businesses in the morning, talk to a group of students in the afternoon, then round out the day with a community event. I've attended my fair share of community events, Mr. Speaker, although I'm not convinced it was a great idea to run the Matching Village 10K a week after the London Marathon. Didn't see the member for Billericay and Basildon there, just saying. He'd already finished, yeah. On the point of running, Mr. Speaker, when I took part in the London Marathon, I received a card from my parliamentary team wishing me luck, with one member of my team commenting, "You've run enough elections, so a marathon should be easy." Which brings me, you'll be pleased to know, to my conclusion. And to a line that I want to end with, from one of my former teachers. Did I mention I was a teacher? Mr. Feely used to teach me science, although I'm never really sure we did learn a lot of science in his lessons, to be fair. However, I think, Mr. Speaker, this line, I think, perfectly sums up this government, and that is, we should always remember, it's a marathon and not a sprint. Yeah. And I would respectfully remind members of that. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
The question is that the humble address be presented to His Majesty as follows. Most gracious Sovereign, we, Your Majesty's most dutiful and loyal subjects, the Commons of the United Kingdom of Great Britain and Northern Ireland, in Parliament assembled, beg leave to offer our humble thanks to Your Majesty for the gracious speech which Your Majesty has addressed to both Houses of Parliament. I now call the Leader of the Opposition, Right Honourable Kemi Ben.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. This King's speech is taking place against the most extraordinary backdrop. We knew the carriages were booked, the horses were ready, the King was coming, but would we have a Prime Minister? So, Mr. Speaker, it is such an honour to be the Leader of the Opposition who gets to respond today. May I start by congratulating the proposer and seconder of the Loyal Address on their excellent speeches. And can I also congratulate the whips for finding 2 backbenchers prepared to support the Prime Minister at this time. The honourable member for Bradford West gave a moving and funny speech. I especially appreciated her comments about black and brown faces on TV, or as my children say, oh look, it's mummy again. She only touched lightly on the fact that she is someone who has faced one of the most challenging childhoods imaginable, and yet through the strength of her character has made it to this place. She's made of tough stuff, and that is something we need more of in this House. Anyone who can boast of chewing up and spitting out George Galloway in an election is clearly formidable. I also congratulate the member for Harlow on successfully delivering a humorous and warm-hearted speech. As he noted, he is my constituency neighbour, and he also, yes, did run the London Marathon last month, raising money for St Clair Hospice, which cares for both our constituents, and so I would like to take this opportunity to thank him for doing that. So I've become a big fan of his after listening to his speech, especially after he was so generous in his comments about the Harlow Conservatives' successful election campaign and my councillor's outstanding work regenerating the town centre. And I would say to him, if things on that side of the House are getting a bit much, he would be very welcome to cross the floor and help Conservatives carry on that work. Mr. Speaker, I think we can say that the proposer and seconder of the Loyal Address have upheld the best traditions of the House. I would, of course, like to pay tribute to His Majesty the King. His Majesty has served through a period of great personal difficulty, and throughout he has exemplified the virtues of grace, dignity, humour, modesty and resolve in the face of adversity. Virtues which were on full display during his hugely successful state visits to the United States. And I'm sure the whole House will have admired his skillful speech to Congress. It was a speech full of the wisdom and courage needed for our times. Of course, we would never have got to hear it if we'd listened to some people in this House who called for the King's visit to be cancelled. But thank goodness no one listens to the leader of the Liberal Democrats. As for the Prime Minister, when he was young, he called for the end of the monarchy. So I'm glad that the right honourable and learned gentleman has seen the error of his ways, because previous King Charleses took a much dimmer view of that kind of thing. I'm only sorry that this newfound appreciation of the monarchy and our country's traditions have come too late, because this is the first parliamentary session ever without the hereditary peers. And their departure will be keenly felt, and our Parliament will be poorer for it. Especially, Mr. Speaker, when you consider some of the people that Labour have been replacing them with. People who've already had the whip removed before they've even taken their seats. Mr. Speaker, I know the convention is for this to be a light-hearted debate, but as I've already said, this is a highly unusual moment. The Prime Minister is in office, but not in power. Everyone is trying to pretend it's all right. It's not all right. In the past 48 hours, nearly 100 Labour MPs have called for the Prime Minister to resign. 4 ministers have quit. It is clear his authority has gone, and that he will not be able to deliver what little there is in this King's Speech. This is a government less than 2 years in office, which has already run out of ideas and run out of road. So how did we get here? There is a great line in the musical Hamilton, Mr. Speaker. Winning is easy, governing is harder. Everything that has gone wrong in Labour's first 2 years comes back to one problem. They came into office with no plan. They did not understand the difference between winning an election and governing a country. It was very easy to make promises in opposition, promises to freeze council tax, promises to take £300 off energy bills, promises to the WASPy women. Hundreds of Labour MPs took photos with them to post on their Facebook pages and their websites and their election leaflets, but at no point did they bother to think, how would they deliver any of it? They didn't spend their time in opposition thinking deeply about the country's problems. They assumed that governing in the 2020s would be like governing in the 1990s. But it isn't. Britain is facing new structural problems. We have an ageing... Mr. Speaker, they'll shout at me. I know they can't wait to get back to their plotting, but it's quite important that we hear what is going to be said. Because we have an ageing population, a falling birth rate, and a welfare bill that is spiralling out of control. We have an information revolution in the shape of AI that threatens to unravel the world of work as we know it, and the cost of energy is driving industry out of the country. Labour were taken by surprise that we are living in a more competitive and increasingly hostile world. Their manifesto was just a set of misleading promises. They promised no new taxes on working people. Fail. They promised to crack down on illegal immigration. Fail. They promised to tread more lightly on people's lives. Epic fail. They made promises without knowing how anything works. Let's look at housing. Just after Labour took office, when I was Shadow Housing Secretary, I stood at this dispatch box and warned the former Deputy Prime Minister that she had been stitched up, that the 1.5 million new homes Labour promised had been hung like a millstone around her neck. I knew that they wouldn't be able to meet that target because they didn't understand why more houses weren't being built. Sure enough, they are already more than a third down on their target and well behind what we delivered. Of course, Mr. Speaker, in the end, it wasn't 1.5 million homes that did for the former Deputy Prime Minister. It took just one flat in Brighton to bring her down. Mr. Speaker, it is so obvious. It is so obvious. I know they don't want to hear it, Mr. Speaker, but this, I know they don't want to hear it. Look at them. They are so arrogant. They want to lead our country. They can't even lead a coup. It is so obvious, Mr. Speaker, that they cannot handle being in government. They cannot handle it. They hate the responsibility. They hate having to take tough decisions. They prefer scratching the itches that they had in opposition. Giving inflation-busting pay rises to the unions, 28% for the doctors who are still striking. Nearly 2 years, they are still striking. Handing out more benefits to the only people who will still vote for them because Labour don't understand that poverty isn't created by a lack of benefits, it's created by a failing economy. We spent, Mr. Speaker, the last session listening to Labour MPs telling us how great everything was going. No doubt we will hear lots of grandstanding speeches this week telling us what a fantastic job they did. How absurd, given the number of them demanding that the Prime Minister stands down. We counted, Mr. Speaker, there were 24 U-turns in that first parliamentary session. Winter fuel, family farms, grooming gangs, welfare reforms, social media for under-16s, day one workers' rights, the list goes on. And every every single one of these U-turns had at its core a single issue: the Prime Minister's total lack of judgment. This is a man who, faced with a crisis of vision, charisma, and electoral success, sent for Gordon Brown. Leadership, Mr. Speaker, is about having a vision for this country. It's about having the courage to take difficult decisions, persuading your party that those difficult decisions will pay off in time, and taking responsibility for your mistakes. He has failed on every count. We've had pillars, promises, 4-point plans, 5-point plans, missions, none of it achieving anything. Reset after reset after reset. Even if the Prime Minister does last long enough in office to deliver this gracious speech, the bills announced today do not remotely come close to what the country needs. I know that they're chuntering, Mr. Speaker. Not a single one of them actually dares to intervene on me in this speech. I do, Mr. Speaker, however, want to welcome the government's ongoing support to Ukraine and its commitment to NATO. In this increasingly dangerous world, it is more important than ever that we stand with our allies in the fight against tyranny. I also commend the government for its commitment to speed up the delivery of infrastructure such as new nuclear. Too many governments have been frustrated in their attempts to deliver nuclear projects quickly, and we will support efforts to make this process simpler, faster and cheaper. I also want to be generous to the Home Secretary, because I can see that she is trying to do something about illegal immigration. But the elephant in the room is that she almost certainly won't be Home Secretary for much longer. Sadly, no one else in the Labour Party looks remotely interested in bringing down illegal immigration. The rest of this offering in the King's Speech, Mr. Speaker, makes it clear that they have learnt no lessons from their mistakes in government so far. All we have is a load of re-announced policies, hounding our brave veterans through the courts, legislating for digital ID, a policy they told us they dropped, banning trail hunting, just more class war that makes no one's life better, scrapping NHS England, something the Prime Minister announced 14 months ago. But then I suppose the Health Secretary has been a bit distracted lately, hasn't he? Hasn't he? Yeah. He's chuntering now. Why don't you just do your job? Do your job. Even worse, Mr. Speaker, is what isn't in the gracious speech. There's no point in him giving me dirty looks. We all know what he's been up to. We all know. Even worse, Mr. Speaker, is what isn't in the gracious speech. There is no defence readiness bill because apparently it isn't ready. Where are the plans for welfare reform? There are none because Labour MPs blocked them. Where is the plan to make savings? There isn't one because Labour don't know how to make savings. They only know how to spend money, other people's money. Where is the plan to support businesses? There isn't one, because they don't understand that it is business that creates growth, not government. They have no answers to what really matters, the problems that must be solved to get Britain working again. Now, Mr. Speaker, I will say that I do feel very sorry for Labour backbenchers. I do. They arrived here, not that, it's true, I do feel sorry for Labour backbenchers, I do. They arrived here not that long ago with such high hopes. Some of them, in fact, were so talented, they were made ministers before ever speaking a word in Parliament. So talented. Although one of them has just resigned. I mustn't forget that. One of them has just resigned. We have watched, Mr. Speaker, their growing horror, day after day, week after week, as this hope descended into total chaos. The dread as they are sent out yet again to defend the indefensible. The injustice at feeling like pariahs in their own constituencies. Banned from pubs, banned from hairdressers, which is presumably why all the women on the front bench have the same hairstyle. The realization, Mr. Speaker, that their legacy is just going to be No, I wasn't. They can complain as much as they like. I wasn't expecting this to be comfortable for them. They're the ones who are trying to unseat their Prime Minister. They should face that. The realization, Mr. Speaker, that their legacy is just going to be breakfast clubs and Peter Mandelson. Labour MPs have been treated as disposable by their leadership, sacked for backing the two-child benefit cap, sacked for opposing welfare changes, sacked for supporting farmers. The Prime Minister then U-turned on all of them. It must be tough when you take a principled stand and have the whip removed only for the government to confirm 6 months later that they agreed with you all along. It is no wonder, Mr. Speaker, that nearly 100 Labour MPs have now called for the Prime Minister to go. I know that there's another 100 who claim to be supporting him, although some of them didn't even know that their names were on that list. When you can only get a quarter of your MPs to publicly back you, the game is up. And so the starting gun for the Labour leadership contest has been fired. So let's have a look at the runners and riders. We have the former Deputy Prime Minister, Mr. Speaker, former Deputy Prime Minister, who has given up vaping. She's not here. She's given up vaping, but still hasn't paid her taxes. We have the Health Secretary, who accidentally sent his takeover plans to number 10, almost as incompetent as leaving them on the photocopier. And we have, Mr. Speaker, the Mayor of Manchester. The Mayor of Manchester, Mr. Speaker, a self-proclaimed winner who has twice failed to win the Labour leadership, including against the member for Islington North. As one Labour MP said about all the candidates in this race, and I quote, "We have to face up to the fact every single one of them is," I apologise, Mr. Speaker, F*** useless. I do feel sorry for the poor Labour MPs who will now be subjected to months of peacocking by leadership candidates while the country is not being governed. I have some advice for whichever of them eventually takes over. Getting to number 10 is not an award for being in a game show. This is not Strictly Come Dancing, and despite appearances, it's not Traitors either. If you are a housing secretary who can't work out her housing taxes, if you're a health secretary who can only cut waiting lists by deleting names from the waiting list, if you are Gordon Brown's former chief secretary to the Treasury and you think the bond markets are a hoax, I can assure you that being Prime Minister is going to be a lot tougher. Too many have failed because they thought winning an election or a leadership contest was the success. It is not. The work doesn't end when you get the job. That's when it starts. It is absolutely preposterous that the government is here laying out a programme as its ministers are resigning and a large proportion of the party is saying that the Prime Minister needs to go. The whole thing is totally illogical. Either Labour MPs agree with this agenda, in which case, why are they trying to get rid of the Prime Minister? Or they don't agree with this agenda, in which case, what on earth are we all doing here? It is time to be brutally honest, Mr. Speaker. It is time to be brutally honest. The country is angry with the entire political class. All of us here. They are not happy with how we have been doing politics. It is time to get serious. I will give way. I will give way.
The Right Honourable Lady seeks to lecture us on why it is that everyone is so fed up with the political class, but uses this opportunity not to lay out what the Conservatives would do. But to spend her time insulting everybody on this side. Surely that's not the way to proceed.
Oh, I'm not done yet. I'm not done yet. There is plenty more coming. There is plenty more coming. And the Honourable Lady says she's getting a lecture. She is getting a lecture. She is getting a lecture. We're all getting a lecture because we are legislators of the United Kingdom. We were sent here to fix difficult things, not focus on our personal hobby horses, ranging from the petty to the puerile. I would say to members opposite, You don't need to be scared of the member for Clacton. I'm not. He is not the cause of Britain's problems. He is a symptom. No. He is. They are still, Mr. Speaker, they are still delusional. They are still delusional, Mr. Speaker. I'm sorry to puncture the bubble. I am not here to pretend that what is happening is not happening. They can all pretend and live in la-la land. I'm going to speak the truth to them. He is not the cause of Britain's problems. He is a symptom of the failure of the political class to focus on what matters. If you fix the problems that people care about, he goes away. But I will give way. I will give way.
I'm very glad that she's giving way, and she's saying that the honourable member for Clacton is a symptom of the problems. But would she agree that what she and he both have in common is that she very loosely agreed that we should race into war with America in Iran? And then just a week later, she thought maybe that's not such a good idea. And doesn't that prove why she and he are totally unsuitable on this side of the House?
That was a nice try. It's not going to work. So, you cannot solve these problems, Mr. Speaker. You cannot solve the problems of the country unless you have a plan to fix the civil service, the regulators, the legislative straitjackets, powers transferred from Parliament to the courts. Unless you fix structures of government, everyone will continue to fail. Britain is not ungovernable, and it is not broken. The reason we published an alternative King's Speech, I'll say to the Honourable Lady who was asking what the plan was, we have published an alternative King's Speech, is because we need to take tough decisions to get the country out of the mess we're in. Cutting wasteful spending, funding defence, securing our borders, reducing the cost of energy. If you want to bring down bills for families and bring industry back to this country, you need a plan to scrap the net zero legislation, strangling industry and making energy costs higher. That's why we're proposing a cheap energy bill to do just that. If you want businesses to employ people, you need to stop crushing them with thousands of pages of employment laws and stop handing power to the unions. You need to stop hammering businesses with tax rises. That's why we're proposing a Get Britain Working bill that would scrap laws that are no longer fit for purpose and are killing jobs. If you want to get a grip on illegal immigration and remove foreign criminals from the country, you must have a plan to leave the ECHR and repeal the Human Rights Act. You must. Efforts to get control of our borders have been frustrated because power has been taken out of the hands of ministers. We need to bring that power back so that we don't have murderers staying in our country because the courts stop us from deporting them. Our alternative King's Speech shows how it can be done, letting the government, not the courts, decide who comes and goes. Prime ministers are going to keep running into problems until they deal with activist lawyers and international agreements that tie the government's hands against the interests of the British public. Oh, Mr. Speaker, they're chanting that it... Mr. Speaker, they're chanting that it's... Does someone want to stand up and tell us who they're supporting? Is it the plotters or the PM? Is it? Because I know that's what they really want to get to. They're not interested in hearing what a plan for the country should be because they're too focused on Labour Party problems. Mr. Speaker, we will keep running into these problems until they deal with activist lawyers and international agreements that tie the government's hands against the interests of the British public. Next, we must reduce welfare spending. It is eating every penny that we generate in income tax and more. We must spend much more on defence. Even former Labour defence secretaries are pleading with the government to do this. That's why we're proposing a sovereign defence fund which will overhaul Britain's defence industrial base. That's what the alternative could be. That alternative King's Speech makes difficult choices because that is what leadership is. We have laid out these plans now because we are more than happy for Labour to take them. They might be our political opponents, Mr. Speaker, but we are all citizens of this country. We recognise the enormous challenges facing Britain. We want to see these problems solved, and so do our constituents. Time and again, I have offered the Prime Minister support to pass difficult legislation. Time and again, I have offered the Prime Minister support to pass difficult legislation. Time and again, he has turned it down. It might be too late for him now, but it's not too late for his successor. It is time to get serious. It is time to deliver. That is what the British public expect. That is what the Conservative Party will do.
I now call the Prime Minister, Sir Keir Starmer.
Mr. Speaker, can I say what a pleasure it is to welcome the gracious speech of His Majesty and the radical agenda of this Labour government that will tear down the status quo that has failed working people and build a stronger, fairer Britain. Mr. Speaker, in light of the abhorrent attacks in Golders Green 2 weeks ago, let me start by briefly addressing that directly. It was the latest in a series of appalling anti-Semitic attacks, a normalisation of hatred that leads terrorists with warped Islamist ideologies to attack people they've never even met, simply because they are Jewish. A hatred that leads some to march calling for the murder of British Jews, and not to think there might be something wrong about that. Mr. Speaker, I've fought this hatred in my own political party. And I've sat with others as they describe what it means for them. The fear, the sense that maybe they shouldn't wear something or do something that might reveal their Jewish identity, just in case. Mr. Speaker, it is time for the silent majority in this country to speak up, to stand with British Jews and defeat this hatred once and for all. Just as we will take on any form of hatred, from left or right, that seeks to divide us. Mr. Speaker, in the words of the gracious speech, we will defend the British values of decency, tolerance and respect for difference under our common flag. Mr. Speaker, that is also why, when far-right agitators try to come here this Saturday to spread their poison of hatred, this Labour government will block them this time and every time. Mr. Speaker, the gracious speech was brilliantly proposed by my honourable friend, the member for Bradford West. Members across the House will have read her remarkable new book. Her list of endorsements is truly impressive, reaching well over 100 members. At last, Mr. Speaker, a list that we could all get behind. And Mr. Speaker, it's not the first time that has shown her ability to bring people together. She united her city and many in this House when she sent George Galloway packing. And, Mr. Speaker, the House will know that she is passionate about the measures this government is taking to lift 500,000 children out of poverty. As we all are on this side of the House, it is the pride of these benches. But the House might not know about her remarkable effort to get Marcus Rashford to champion free school meals and speak to pupils in her constituency. Now, most of us would have attempted this, Mr. Speaker, via the complex world of agents and managers. But my honourable friend had a different idea. She spoke to, as you do, the sister of Cristiano Ronaldo. Now, I can imagine the Ronaldo household is used to fielding some pretty big offers. Multi-million-pound transfers, billions in brand sponsorships, Piers Morgan calling for the 8th time that day. But I cannot imagine the confusion in the Ronaldo family when they heard my honourable friend say, not is Cristiano Ronaldo available, but can you give me the number of Marcus Rashford? I want to invite him to a primary school in Allerton and have some porridge in our free breakfast club. Mr. Speaker, on a much more serious note, I know the whole House will join me in paying tribute to my honourable friend's extraordinary courage, together with her mother, brother and sister. This story is utterly harrowing. Their strength to survive and the deep-rooted determination to fight for change is an inspiration for all of us and the very best of who we are. My honourable friend brings a lived experience to our politics, an empathy, a compassion, a humanity, an understanding of how easy it is to slip from a stable and secure life into one gripped by terrible deprivation. As she writes in her book, behind every word we utter must lie the foundation of real human experience. And in that spirit, I'm sure she will welcome the measures in this King's Speech, which will deliver change grounded in that lived experience, and the tireless campaigners who have fought for justice, from remediation for those living in homes with unsafe cladding, to banning abusive conversion practices, from our mission to halve violence against women and girls, to the Hillsborough Law, which will bring justice for all. As she says so powerfully, equality, fairness and justice must belong to all of us. That is the driving purpose of our party, and her speech was in the finest traditions of this House. Mr. Speaker, His Majesty's speech was also brilliantly seconded by the honourable friend, the member from Harlow. Now, we are all proud to represent our constituencies, but few of us so relentlessly name our constituency as those who represent Harlow. Members from previous parliaments will remember my honourable friend's predecessor, Robert Halfon, who seemed to get Harlow into pretty well all of his contributions. Well, my honourable friend will not be outdone. He has inherited the great Harlow shoehorn, and indeed, he's already recognised across this House as a one-man tourist board. And I have to thank the member for Huntingdon, caught in Hansard, referring to my honourable friend as the trade envoy to Harlow. A rare example of a good idea from the opposition. Because no matter the debate, my honourable friend will find the local connection, from championing the role of Harlow College in climate change to praising the invention of fibre optic cables in Harlow, and telling us how Harlow doubled for Paris during an episode of The Crown. Mr. Speaker, I remember very clearly my honourable friend saying to me that wherever he goes in the world, he is always thinking about Harlow. Mr. Speaker, he's quite right. And can I congratulate him on his amazing fundraising at this year's London Marathon, as has been mentioned. I do understand his disappointment at being overtaken by the right honourable member for Basildon and Billericay. All I can say is there is no shame in losing to someone whose training was so extensive that involved running all the way from northwest Durham to Billericay. Mr. Speaker, as a secondary school maths teacher for 15 years, it is perhaps no surprise that my honourable friend brings an eye for detail, boundless energy and ability to handle these occasionally unruly benches. But he also brings a real passion for young people, a deep and personal understanding of the invaluable role that young carers play, and a total conviction in the power of education to change our country. So I know he will welcome the education bill in the gracious speech. And when the next series of Educating Essex is made, my honourable friend will rightly be the star. And I thank him for yet another fantastic speech today. Mr. Speaker, let me also thank the Leader of the Opposition for the usual warm and generous nature of her contribution. In difficult days, her input is always a ray of I'm particularly getting tips from her on how to win friends. This is from the person, Mr. Speaker, who previously called us orcs and goons. But, Mr. Speaker, I am a gooner, and so, as usual, she is less than half right. But we do have one thing in common. Our parties both had tough results in the local elections last week. The difference is, she hasn't noticed. And, Mr. Speaker, there's another difference, Mr. Speaker. We are in government, and they are no longer even the opposition. Mr. Speaker, this King's speech is a strike against the status quo that has failed working people. It's a King's speech for the young people whose gifts lie in their hands, who work hard, want their talents to be recognised, and just want an opportunity in their community. A King's speech for the children who, under the party opposite, had to go to school without breakfast, hungry, cold and tired, when they should be focused on their learning. And, Mr. Speaker, it's a King's speech for the backbone of this country, for working people who worry about the cost of living, want their town centres to thrive, their public services to work, their government to be on their side. And, Mr. Speaker, we are, because the heart of this programme is a plan to make Britain stronger and Britain fairer. Mr. Speaker, right now, across the country, people turn on their television and they see bombs falling. They go to the petrol station and see prices rising, and they're worried sick about the consequences. We cannot stand here in this House and pretend that this is new. Britain has been buffeted by crises for decades now. The 2008 financial crash, the austerity that followed it, Brexit, COVID, and the war that still rages in Ukraine. And the response, their response, is always the same: a desperate attempt to get back to a status quo that failed working people, decimated their public services, and made them pay the price. Our response this time must and will be different, a complete break. We will not simply slump back to the old ways, because this King's speech gives us the strength we need, the economic security, energy security and national security to control our future in a chaotic world. It is an agenda of radical reform across our major public services, an urgent activist Labour government that tilts power back to workers, renters and the less fortunate, gives voice to the working class and to all those that the status quo has repeatedly ignored and dismissed, in favour of a Britain where everyone, whatever their background, can go as far as their talent and effort takes them, where people have a pride in where they live and hope in what lies ahead. That is the change of a Labour government, and this King's speech delivers it. Mr. Speaker, we will deliver on economic security. And let me be clear, as the conflict in Iran unfolds, we are in a better position because of the action that my right honourable friend, the Chancellor, took last year, getting inflation down, borrowing down, and mortgage costs down. And that's why we've been able to cap energy bills, raise the living wage, strengthen workers' rights, and end the shameful two-child benefit limit, lifting 500,000 children out of poverty. And, Mr. Speaker, faced with challenges, we don't retreat from our Labour values. We use them as our compass. Strength through fairness. So we will keep supporting those who need it most, including by creating a new national programme to redistribute surplus food so that no one in this country needs to go hungry because of the conflict overseas. We also need to strengthen our sovereign capabilities, because the days when this country turns its back on our critical industries, they are over. And we've seen that, Mr. Speaker, with British Steel, and we will see it with new legislation to clean up our waterways, a failure in the water industry that has been going on for decades. It is a disgrace, and this Labour government will tackle it. And, Mr. Speaker, we will take that moral urgency to every part of our nation, with bills to increase the pace of change in our NHS, in law enforcement, in controlling our borders and more. Because whilst immigration is down, we need to do more. Whilst violent crime is down, it needs to be lower. Whilst NHS waiting lists are down, we must go further. A rewiring of the state so that the working people of this country feel that it serves their interests. And, Mr. Speaker, we will also build in this country sovereign power in the industries of the future that will give us greater control in a world being reshaped by artificial intelligence. We will tear down the barriers to growth on planning, on faster infrastructure development, on business regulation, helping our great businesses, large and small. And, Mr. Speaker, we will, as a defining act of this government, rebuild our relationship with Europe. Yeah. Britain back at the heart of a stronger Europe. That is good for growth. It will reduce the cost of living and strengthen our security. There is no good reason to oppose it. So for our economic security, for our Labour values, this government will act. Yes.
Okay. Prime Minister, in my part of the United Kingdom, Northern Ireland, we have been subjected now for some years to the humiliation of being governed by laws we don't make and can't change. And yet you, Prime Minister, now seem to want to impose that same denial of democracy in the whole United Kingdom by becoming a subservient rule taker from a foreign parliament. How is that in the interest of democracy?
Can I just say to Honourable, he's been here long enough to not blame me for the problem. I am not you. Prime Minister.
Mr. Speaker, I thank him for his intervention. I'm very well aware of the tensions in Northern Ireland, the issues that have to be dealt with in relation to relations with the EU. But we have to face the fact that promises were made about Brexit, which were not true, which haven't borne fruit. It is in our economic interests, our national interest and defence interests to be closer to Europe. Of course we will navigate carefully, taking on board the issues in Northern Ireland, as he would expect. But it is in our interest to be closer to the EU. That is what we are doing, and we will go further. Mr. Speaker, this moment also demands even greater radicalism on energy security. The British people should not have to pay more in their bills, and their living standards should not be hit because of a war that they did not vote for, that Britain is not involved in, happening thousands of miles away. That is a fundamental argument of this government, and the party opposite has no answer to it. Because for decades they ducked the long-term decisions to make our country, our energy and our economy stronger. So we are going to take control. We are going to declare Britain's energy independence. That does not mean, and it will not mean, that we turn off the taps in the North Sea. Oil and gas will be part of the mix for decades. But we have to move so much faster on clean energy, a whole society effort, everyone playing their part, as we take control of our energy security. And, Mr. Speaker, I will.
I'm very grateful to the Prime Minister for giving way. He talks about energy security, and he should know that Scotland currently exists in a state of energy surplus. We generate more electricity than we use, and he should know that under conditions of surplus, prices go down. But in Scotland, because we have to be stuck in the GB energy market, we pay for the scarcity of energy in England, but not just to the equal, to the detriment, higher prices for energy in Scotland. Can he explain why that dysfunction exists and what's in this King's speech to fix it?
Well, what's in this King's speech to fix it is moving faster to our energy independence. That is the way that we get off the international markets. That is the way that we take control and reduce bills for people across the country. Mr. Speaker, we will of course also strengthen our country's defence security. That starts with the fundamentals and a recognition that it is not in the interests of this country to rush into a war without any thought of the consequences. That is my position. That has always been my position, regardless of the pressure a test of judgment which some in this House have failed. It continues, Mr. Speaker, with our commitment to NATO, the most successful defensive alliance in history. A proud achievement of this party that others would throw away. Today, faced with even greater threats, we need to strengthen NATO, we need to invest in our defence capabilities, and we need to strengthen the European element of NATO, because this nation is stronger when it stands with others, not just in word, but in deed. We are prepared to lead from the front, to bring nations together in this moment of danger, to support Ukraine, including through the coalition of the willing, and to act with our allies to reassure shipping in the Strait of Hormuz. Because, Mr. Speaker, we're not merely content to manage the fallout of the Iran crisis. Instead, we're building an international effort to solve it and end the economic harm. And of course, Mr. Speaker, standing up for the defence and security of the United Kingdom depends on one thing above all else: ending 14 years of Tory defence austerity, with the biggest sustained investment since the Cold War. And we will go further with the measures outlined in the King's speech, with our upcoming defence investment plan. And, Mr. Speaker, we will develop the capabilities our nation needs. We will also deepen our partnerships to fire up our industries and make sure that British skill, British pride and British resolve are converted into British jobs in a stronger, fairer Britain. Yes, I will.
For the Prime Minister for giving way. He's used a lot of words about the Defence Investment Plan, which was, I think, due in the autumn of last year. So when's he going to sign it?
Yeah. I'll take no lectures from the party opposite. They hollowed out defence spend. Defence spend was 2.5% when they came into power, 2.3% when they left power. The investment plan is being finalised and will be published soon. But, Mr. Speaker, the strength is the foundation. That's the way we maintain our control, even in the storms of blood. I won't give way.
I mean, the Prime Minister quite rightly prioritised the defence of the country. We have depended for decades on the courage, honour and loyalty of our soldiers. They, of course, some of our best units are now losing soldiers because this government is undermining them and allowing them to be prosecuted and persecuted for alleged crimes that were not carried out decades ago in the Northern Ireland Bill.
Mr. Speaker, he knows very well that the provisions in Northern Ireland are intended to strike the right balance between what needs to be done and protecting our veterans. We are, of course, proud of all those that have served and do serve our country, but the legislation that was put forward by the last government was struck down, leaving no protection whatsoever. Because, Mr. Speaker, I'll make some progress. The way we change our country, rather than make our progress.
He will know that in the recent Supreme Court Dillon judgment, the court ruled that our Legacy Act overwhelmingly was not incompatible with the Human Rights Act. He knows that. But he referenced the awful events in Golders Green, rightfully. And he defended the police officers against attacks on the leader of the Green Party, rightfully, and said they had to take split-second decisions. So if Northern Ireland veterans had to take split-second decisions to uphold the rule of law in Northern Ireland, what's the difference?
I have been in control rooms in Northern Ireland, watching decisions being taken on the use of fatal force. I'm well aware of the nature of the decisions that have to be taken, the circumstances in which they're taken and how difficult those decisions are. That is not the same as the issues in this bill, and he knows it. Mr. Speaker, strength is the foundation. It is the way we maintain our control, even in the storms of this world, the way we change our country rather than just manage the crisis. And more than anything, change means a Britain where every child can go as far as their talent or effort allows. It is a beautiful idea, one that I know is shared across the House. But we need, as representatives of this country, to see the country as a whole, to make sure we see every child, including the children who are growing up in poverty, the children who have special educational needs, and the young people who can't get a job, and the people who are ignored, excluded from our highest aspirations because they don't want to go to university. This is a King's Speech to change that, Mr. Speaker, once and for all. And Mr. Speaker, my late brother had difficulties learning, and he had to fight every day just to be seen. And there are millions of people like him, people who are ignored by a system, a status quo that has no expectations for them. This King's Speech will make sure no child is left behind, because everyone has something to contribute to the success of this nation. And every child must succeed if we're to build a stronger, fairer Britain. That is how we tear down the status quo preserved by the party opposite, a status quo that failed working people, a status quo that left Britain's economy exposed, a status quo that made our country weak. There are some in this country, some even in this House, who would feed the frustration with that status quo into a politics of grievance and division. This King's Speech sets a different course, a more hopeful course, a course that sees the conflict in Iran, a war on two fronts, not as something to wring our hands about, but as an opportunity we must take to shape our country's future, to end the status quo that has failed working people, to build a stronger, fairer Britain. That is what this King's Speech delivers, and I commend it to the House.
The Leader of the Liberal Democrats, Sir Ed Davey.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. And may I start by giving my sincere thanks to His Majesty King Charles for His Grace's speech on behalf of all Liberal Democrats. While we still believe President Trump should not have been rewarded for insulting British soldiers and the Royal Navy, His Majesty was superb on that state visit. And can I join others in paying tribute to the honourable members for Bradford West and for Harlow for their accomplished speeches, proposing and seconding the Royal Address. Like myself, the honourable lady worked in a factory. For her, it was crisps. For me, it was pork pies. If we throw in the honourable member for the Isle of Wight West, who worked in the soft drinks industry, together we are a meal deal. But may I say, she is the real McCoy. The honourable member for Bradford West has already had an extraordinary life and career, talking from first-hand experience about how violence against women and homelessness touches millions of people. And we are in her debt for that and for her bravery and courage. Can I also congratulate the honourable member for Harlow for his speech? I hear he recently ran the London Marathon. Now, the House might be shocked to know I have more experience with crisps than long-distance running. But I would add that it's a great pleasure to work with him on young carers and young adult carers, something that we are both passionate about. And can I thank him for his leadership chairing the all-party parliamentary group. As others have mentioned, including himself, the honourable gentleman was a maths teacher for many years and no doubt had to deal with bad behaviour in the classroom. He may want to advise the Prime Minister on whether the Health Secretary should be put in detention. Mr. Speaker, there's a lot to cover in responding to this King's Speech, but I want to start by addressing directly the atrocious acts of anti-Semitism British Jews are experiencing at the moment, the insecurity and fears the community now feel. Week after week, British Jews are being attacked, intimidated and persecuted. Heaton Park Synagogue, Kenton United Synagogue, Finchley Reform Synagogue, Jewish Futures in Hendon, the Hatzola ambulances, and now the Golders Green stabbings. When I visited Marble Arch Synagogue last week, members of the Jewish community questioned whether Britain is a safe place.
Yeah, people, one thing me I say, you see, with British Party now, you have so many rascals, different party. And that Jamaica want, Yeah, man, that Jamaica really want. So them have choices, competition. But two-party for so long, it don't make no sense. Because you have this Scottish National Party, you have the Green Party, you have the Liberal Democrat, and you have so many more parties. When I talk them three parties, all of them have MP in a parliament. So them split up the vote all the while. So when a party get a landslide, like this government are in a power now, and blow it, you can't serve for them. Because it's not like Jamaica a two-party system. Because they don't count the rest of our third party that may exist. And if that was happening, then Andrew Willis would also lose an election. He couldn't buy out an election because, people have voted for other party. If not like what the government are doing. And that they want, but they don't get that choice. The two main party, them try for Rasclad kill third party, for some reason, because it benefit them. They don't want no competition. And that are go on. And the Jamaican people, them can't see it. Because you have third party will come up with them, going to try it. They don't have nothing to lose. And see if something can really change. You need more party. You need competition. Because if I want to have a corner shop, or any shop with a corner shop or our establishment and I sell certain things, and if now no competition, you must sell it there all the while and you can't do nothing because you have to buy it. Because it's a choice. Is it something in demand, something where you have to buy? And if you don't have no competition, then what you're going to do? You have to it's just like the Rasclad JPS at Jamaica. Them can just raise up Rasclad and things like that and do what they want to do. And then when anything now, me want to know where they feel their money there. That's government if you have bail them out. And then them raise Rasclad electricity bill again. All them things are Rasclad, murder upon Jamaican people. But you have now. And them make themselves a ghetto in it because them with them two-party system too long. And it's supposed to really grow up now. Because look much party in England. Because out three of them and them all have minister in the parliament. And your reform party now come and vote, people have voted for them. Like, whoa, in a joke. So there's so much party. You have all the loony party, And all of them get represented in an election time. So why Jamaica can't adapt them things there? Because the two main parties have fight out them things there. They don't want the next third party or fourth party. Because they're going to make for them life rough. Them just want two-party rule. And that will fucking burn out and done. Right? Because we need to find different choices, man. Different new ideas and things like that. And this man is a man who I talk right now. He's the leader for the Liberal Democrat. And them have MPs in the Rasclad Parliament. And them always win by election. Big too. So you see them things that really make them make the country run more better. Uneven. You understand? It don't uneven. Anyway, we leave it at that. Because we're there a long time and us want to just carry over that. Say, well then, the King's speech. And Starmer and the verge of fucking stepping down. Because the pressure reach him, I bite him. So I don't know how I'm going to survive it. So we will see. Anyway, people, out.
A big sound up here, big tune. Ja oli Emmanuel I boy. Ja Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, Gideon go busting out them head again. So much oppression, poor people face right now. Them crying out for freedom. Them crying out for free speech. Then said them want to stand up like them black liberators, like Malcolm X and Martin Luther. And the ancient monarchy will come pave the way, sir. Free up black people from me tear down them fence, yeah. Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. The Gideon, I'm a Gideon. Well, the Gideon go busting out them head. I listen, I the power of the Trinity. Give us the teaching of His Majesty. And we know war, no devil philosophy. Not until color of a man's skin is abnormal, significant well to the color of his eye. Remember all the war done in 1935.
This is Sticky Stucky Sweet TV with Keith Gargan. Good, healthy food with the X Factor. So give it a like, share, subscribe, and touch up that notification bell. And that is it. Look at that.
On Sticky Stucky TV. If your finger is not sticky, subscribe. But if your finger sticky, do not subscribe on Sticky Stucky TV. Big up yourself, Keith Gargan. Straight.